as far as the big team, when your receivers are the guys finishing, when your receivers are the toughest guys in the field, when your receivers are outworking everyone else, it eliminates excuses for everyone else. Because generally the receivers are the guys that are they're soft, they're flashy, they're not being the tough guys. When you can get them to be the tough guys, nobody else in the field has an excuse not to be given their all. And I think I've seen it happen. I mean, when I was at Rutgers, I was there the last year we were any good. We were 8-5 the year before, 2 years before we all got fired. But like that team, the receivers set the tone. I went to Wesleyan, a D3 school in Connecticut. I didn't think we had a great culture as a team, but our receiving core kind of built their own subculture. And once we became the toughest guys in the field, it eliminated excuses for everyone else. And I think this position group particularly, because they're known to be the prima donnas and all that stuff, when you can eliminate that and create toughness in that room, it really becomes it becomes apparent throughout the whole team. It's just a quick tip, a quick kind of bit of videos from some of the guys I've coached just finishing. And I think that something that's important is if you emphasize these plays. This is Leonte Crew, who plays for the Dolphins, and he was the best player on our team. So when a kid like this is finishing, it now inspires the running back to finish, who was a freshman at the time. This is Andre Patton, who plays out here for the Chargers. Some of our best receivers are out there finishing the run game, busting their ass. And I think when you celebrate these plays more than you celebrate big catches, more than you celebrate speed and route running, the kids start to value it more and more. And I think that's important. And I think we start off our meetings every day with a finish statement, and either just talking about how guys are finishing, through the whistle, and that might be just with the ball in their hand, the way they're finishing the run, finishing through the end zone. But most importantly, in the run game, I've taken pride in the fact that my receivers have been ass kickers in the run game every single year I've ever coached. I would never have it any other way. If you come to a Don Bosco practice, 80% of our individual periods don't even have a football. We're just beating each other up. We're either working on something mental, or we're hitting each other and developing toughness and getting our minds and our bodies ready to hit all day. And like I said, it's just important, I think, to the entire team. When you got your receivers out here doing this, and you'll see me come to the bottom, like I'm hitting the white down there, running on the field, because I'm fired up about it. And that matters to me more than scoring a touchdown, or more than any sort of big plays in the passing game. And to kind of retrace, it says WRU at the top, Wide Receiver University, something we started at Wesleyan. The kids called it WRU. And this is kind of a culture that's carried on to the NFL guys I coach now at Don Bosco. It's been sort of like, if you play for me, you're part of WRU, because we are going to do things the right way. We're going to have the audacity to call ourselves Wide Receiver University, which obviously takes a lot of confidence. Some people think it's cocky. But with us calling ourselves that, we're also going to live up to that expectation every day. And don't step on the field and have the balls to say, hey, I'm part of WRU, but then come out and give half-assed effort or be lazy. Like, you can't have it both ways. And there have been times where I've stripped this title away from them, and I've said, I don't want you breaking down the huddle with this. We haven't earned it. We don't deserve it. But it's something that gives them a lot of confidence and gives them something to buy into. And I think that, again, you got to give them these little victories to kind of celebrate all the time and have some pride in, because there are days when it's a run emphasis day and the receivers aren't getting the ball. There are games when it's raining. Like, we had a playoff game this year, it was raining, we threw the ball 4 times. How do you get the kids to finish in the fourth quarter? And on the most important run, when it could be a 20-yard run, but our receiver's blocking downfield and makes the 80-yard touchdown, how do you keep that finish and be consistent when they're not getting the ball? It's a tough thing to do, and I think it is these constant rallying points and constant triggers that are important. The next thing we rally around is our leadership. And I think once that you've displayed that you can show up every day and give great attitude and great effort on a consistent basis, you've now inherited the responsibility of passing that on to your teammates. And once you have shown that, whether that be as a true freshman, maybe it takes you all the way to your senior year, once you've shown the ability to live up to expectations every day and show up and give a great attitude and great effort every day, it's now your responsibility to bring everyone else along with you. And I think I tell them all the time that leadership is uncomfortable most of the time. It's confrontational most of the time. But without the leadership from the players, I've never been a part of a great team who doesn't have that sort of leadership within the players. It can't just be the coaches talking down to everybody all the time. I think it's got to come from the players as well. And you start small, you let them listen, just live up to my expectations, show up every day, do your job. But then eventually I start to put more pressure on the kids that need it to start bringing everyone else up with them. And that's kind of the, and we take pride in setting the tone for our team every day. And it's one of those things too, where we might not be getting the ball, we might not be heavily involved in this game plan or this period, whatever it is, but us as receivers, we're gonna set the tone for practice every day. We're going to come out hooting and hollering with the highest energy. We're going to hit each other. We're going to finish through the whistle. And again, when we're doing that as receivers, the quote-unquote softest group on the team, it eliminates excuses from everybody else. Part of leadership is communicating. I think this is something you'll hear me say all the time. Nothing bad ever happens with too much communication. and something I say to them all the time is the Cold War started due to a failure to communicate. So if a war can start from a failure to communicate, how are you going to tell me you can't communicate to the guy next to you? And especially, something I've taken pride in is that our receiver group is always able to adjust on the fly. We know the offense so well, we understand the game so well that coaches can make mid-game adjustments. Let's add a new route this week, let's add a new concept this week, and we'll pick it up. Part of the reason why I think we're able to do that is because of our communication. If we have one senior leader on the field who knows what he's doing, he should be able to communicate that to everybody else and get everyone else right. And as long as one guy can be an extension of me, we can get everyone else right. Again, nothing bad ever happens through too much communication. That carries on from, hey coach, I'm running late to my meeting. If you get a text 20 minutes beforehand and communicate, generally things are going to be okay. But that also goes to, hey, I don't know what the play is. Rather than just lining up, not knowing what the play is and running it and looking like an asshole, communicate and figure out what the play is, stop everything, and do things the right way. So I think a big portion of our culture is communication. I think that helps bring us together. We have a group thread that is going on constantly. I have a group thread with all the NFL guys I train. I have a group thread with the guys at Bosco. Like, we're just constantly in communication, sending each other texts, sending each other videos, updating each other on our lives, just constantly in communication. And I really do believe that nothing bad ever happens from too much communication. And I think that's a really important thing for everyone to kind of buy into. And as soon as someone doesn't communicate, they'll start talking about the Cold War and all that stuff, and it's kind of a funny bit for them. But I think that's very, very important.